Okay, Ayin Vav Amud Beis, and I just forgot to put on the recording for a couple of minutes, so I'll go back. That the Mishnah talks about what's called B'Yom Shamo, what's called the day that he hears. He has to be made for the day that he hears. What's called the day? So the Mishnah says that it means the calendar day, and it fluctuates. It's not always going to be the same amount of time because it depends what time of the day she made the neder. If the neder was made, for instance, Friday night, he has the whole night and the whole day until Shkia to be able to be made for. If he should have made the neder right before sunset, she only has until sunset. Okay, very simple. The Gemara brings down a brayso that argues Tanya. That's the same as our Mishnah, that the time to be made for is that day. They argue and say that's 24 hours. It doesn't make a difference what time it was, whenever it was, 24 hours on the clock. That's the time you have to be made for. And now the Gemara goes to, like always, to explain what's the source of each mandiyama. My time at the Tanakama. Tanakama is our Mishnah that says that it's the calendar day. Amakra b'yom shamo. Maybe we'll just highlight the psukim. B'yom shamo sounds like the day, that day. Rabbanan time those the Rabbanan means Rav Yehuda, Rav Lazar, Rav Shimon. These two Tanoim that hold that it's 24 hours. Where do they get it from? It's not a pasuk in the same parasha talks about that he has to be made for the day that he hears. So most of the time it says B'yom Shamo. One time it says B'yom El Yom. B'yom El Yom. The pasuk also might mean that he didn't. He was quiet from a day till the next day. That he didn't. That's ready the next day. But the Gemara sees it's a strange lesson to say, and therefore, since it doesn't say B'yom Shamo, B'yom El Yom is mashma from the day till the next day at the same time, which is 24 hours. What we call meisleis. And as usual, the Gemara is going to ask, what does each one do with the other pasuk? The two pasukim seem to contradict each other. Well, the Tanakama says Yom El Yom. Our Mishnah that holds that it's that day. So what does it do with the pasuk says Yom El Yom, which is mashma 24 hours maybe? It's trich. The reason why it changes the term is not to say 24 hours. You might think that the night doesn't count, and even though it's talking about being quiet, but the point would be when it could be made for. You might think that being quiet and not to be made for is only counts in the daytime. But at night, it doesn't. It cannot be made for. It's talking about being quiet. Of course, you can be quiet at night. The night comes before the day. But the point is that you might think that it cannot be made for at night. So that's why it says Yom to say that it's a full day, a full calendar day, including the night, including the day, that it can be made for whatever he wants. And if it's quiet that whole day, that's going to be the issue of waiting a day. Yom to tell you that it's the night also. And the kasha the other way, the one who says that it's 24 hours because of the pasuk Yom Yom, what does he do with the pasuk Yom Shamo, which the simple words mean only on that day, the calendar day, not the 24-hour period? He also has to have the pasuk Yom Shamo. Really, it's 24 hours. But Yom Yom have a meinam b'chad b'shav. You might think that Yom Yom means from the day that she made the neder until the same day. Not the following day, not the same time the following day, but the same day the following week. You might think if she made a neder Sunday, he has until next Sunday. So he has to say the Yom Shamos, only that day. But the Yom Yom does tell you that doesn't mean only the calendar day, it means a 24-hour period. So therefore, the Yom Shamos. So the Gemara explained both of them on the Yom. Our Mishnah only has one opinion, but the Bryce has another opinion. One says that it's the calendar day, and one says it's 24 hours. Each one has a different pasuk, Yom Shalom, Yom El Yom, and each one uses the other one's pasuk for something else. Don't think that it's only in the daytime, not in the nighttime. You can make it at nighttime also. Don't think that you have until next week. You only have till the following day, even according to the one that says Yom El Yom. So we finished the two mandiyamre. We continue a little bit more. Who do you paskin like? The Gemara starts. You don't paskin like that pair. Who's the pair? The pair is the Gemara started, Rav Yehuda and Rav Lazar, Rav Shimon. They had two mandiyamim that they held that it was meisleis. We don't pass like that pair. We pass like our Mishnah, like the Tanakama of the Brisa, that says that it's only that calendar day. Ain't halacha kosos. So we don't pass like that pair of Chacham. Levi saw what?
Not 24 hours.
Not 24 hours. Only that day. Till
What you said, even if it's a few minutes before Shkia.
Right. Levi saw Balamevet Kani Tanoi. Levi wanted to do like these Tanoim. He held that is 20, you wanted to pass like them, that is 24 hours. Rav told to Levi, Hachi Amar Chavivi, so said my beloved one, that's called uncle. Hachi Amar Chavivi, his uncle is a Priya, and Alacha Kaoso Hazu. We don't pass like that pair of Chacham, we pass like our Mishnah, that it is only that day, only till Shkia. Chavivi, interesting that the word Dod, in Hebrew we say Dod, also means an uncle, also means Chavivi. that the word dov means beloved. How come an uncle is called beloved? I don't know.
Special relation.
Everybody can figure it out.
Because usually,
Love the uncles.
You just have to love and you don't have to educate.
yeah, there's no discipline, there's only presence.
No, only. Okay, that's how it goes always. Rab's uncle was a bchia, so it seems that so far
So-
things, yeah,
It's a little right, the grandparents educated, uncles didn't educate.
maybe, okay. It says that grandparent is chayiv and chinuch also maybe.
Yeah, so that they like the uncles more than the grandparents, because uncles.
Again, you know, the 12 tribes, it's not the Yaakov, the Esav is the uncle.
And they still grew up special. It's a blessing for us.
Because
Even if you have Uncle Asim, you could
Clearly, I didn't see him much.
Wow.
Okay, so the question is, so far the Gemara is very good, and it seems everybody holds the machlokes. The Mishnah says one opinion that it's only that they tell skia. The Gemara would advise it that two Tanoim argue, and I brought this first the right for each one, and then it seemed to bring the psak a few times. En halacha kosa zug, en halacha kosa zug. We don't pass like that. Pirf chacham, we pass like our mission that it's only that day. The next line is pretty difficult. Here by Rav Shadi Giwa Badik, Rabbi Baruch Yosef Khan. So some don't have it over here. Some have it later on. Later on in the sugya, maybe we're going to transfer it.
What did he read that?
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I just said that
It's preparing you then.
either doesn't belong here.
Like a long word.
It doesn't belong here. If it does belong here. So no, there's a printer didn't make space. That's all. So the words literally mean that Chiba Rav would shoot an arrow and check, and Rabbi Baruch Huna would sit and stand. That's translation. What does all that? What does all that mean? So a possible pshat would mean that they're paskening that you have 24 hours, and 24 hours to know the same time tomorrow. So they would use like a sundial kind of a thing. They would make a like it says by kachatzos or like this time next year. It always has made a mark on the wall to see when the sun's going to come here. So Shadi Gira Badik would mean that he would shoot an arrow to be able to make a simon where the sun is holding. And either it means that he thrust in an arrow, or he shot an arrow onto the mark where the shade and the sun, where it meets where the sun is holding. And then he has till that time, till tomorrow, a 24-hour period to be able to be mefer. Or Rabbi Rav Huna Yosef B'Koyim. So the Rosh has the gears of Koyim. He stood up, not Yosef B'Koyim das Koyim. He stood up in order to shed a shadow, so that he should be able to see to where the sun is going, and he'll be able to know tomorrow he has till that time. So according to that, the difficulty is that the whole Gemara is saying until now that we pass like our Mishnah, that you don't have 24 hours, you only have until Shkia, you have nothing to make any marks, you only have till Shkia. And according to this Girsa, this pshat, it's going to say that they hold that it's 24 hours.
It could be a problem if the next day is a rainy day.
Right. Then they'll have to be made for earlier. If it's rainy, they're not going to have the sun. But it was middle of the summer over there. They knew that it wasn't going to rain, so he made a mark in order to know what time is the next day. That's the pshat that they say. The Rush brings down this pshat according to the Girsa that it says over here, and it's located over here. The difficulty is that they're going against the Gemara till now, because the Gemara till now said in halacha kosos. Even as a Girsa that says before halacha kosos, that maybe the Gemara is passing the whole way. According to this, in order to make that it shouldn't be arguing, they're going to go according to the Girsa that says that we do paskin like that, that halacha is yes 24 hours, and then it brings a story that they also did 24 hours. That's the pshat according to our Girsa. There's another pshat that has nothing to do with our Gemara, nothing. So that's difficult. What's doing in our Gemara has nothing to do with our Gemara. So please remind me about the other pshat later on, and we'll get there soon. If I miss it, so we'll come back again. So far, what do we have? The halacha of, and by the way, that's the halacha. The halacha is like our Gemara, like our Gersa, that they only have till Shkia. You don't have 24 hours, you only have until Shkia.
By any nether from a wife or daughter,
yeah,
it's till Shkia.
Right. And now the Gemara continues. Tanan, our Mishnah, we're on Ayin Zayin Amud Aleph. Our Mishnah in Masechah Shabbos. Tanan Hasam in Masechah Shabbos. With fear of Dom Shabbos, when the Sholem the Dom Shem L'Tzarech Shabbos. Are you allowed to be mefer or matan neder on Shabbos? So the Mishnah says you are allowed to. With fear of the Dom Shabbos, and the Sholem the Dom. With fear means the husband or the father, and the Sholem means you go to the Chacham and you do Ataras Nedarim. And then it says L'Tzarech Shabbos. If it's a neder which was for Shabbos, means that in order to undo the neder is affecting Shabbos, and you want to be matan neder, you want to undo the neder because you need it for Shabbos. So surely at the end of the mission, when it says the Shalom, surely this part you read straight, the Shalom and the Nedam Shein L'Tzarech Shabbos. that you only allowed to be mata neder, a neder which is necessary for Shabbos. That he made a neder, he's not going to eat bread, whatever, or meat, whatever is relevant to Shabbos, and he wants to eat meat. So he's not allowed to go to the Chacham on Shabbos and be mata neder in order that he should be able to eat for Shabbos. But what if he doesn't need it to Shabbos? It's not relevant to Shabbos. It's something else that's not going to be relevant until tomorrow anyway. So then the Mishnah says, you're not allowed to be mata neder.
Wait, not the
Only be mata neder on Shabbos if it's l'tzarech Shabbos. The question is if the words shein l'tzarech Shabbos is also going. Okay, I can't get the whole thing up. Okay, whatever. Leave out the ibaya. The ratio that says mefir in the Nedarim is that also only if it's a tzarech Shabbos or not. To be mata neder, you go to the Chacham and you say I didn't mean it or I have charata. So then it's dafke if it's tzarech Shabbos. The also say mefir in the Nedarim is also the father or the husband that want to be made for their wife, the made for the neder of the wife or the daughter. They also only have permission to do that if it's a tzarech Shabbos. So they can do it even if it's not a tzarech Shabbos. That's the most question.
All right, so if it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with Shabbos, do they still have time to do it the
Oh,
next
very
day?
nice, very nice. Mamish, Moshe got it. Moshe got it. That the issue might be that why should we be made? Why should we allow haparas nedarim on Shabbos even if it's not on Shabbos? Even and the shalom the heter nedarim is only on Shabbos, only for Tzarech Shabbos. And there's a side in the Gemara to say that haparas nedarim is even if it's not a Tzarech Shabbos. Why not? So Moshe is suggesting because Hataras Nedarim is nothing. If you don't need it for today, so wait till tomorrow. Whenever you go to the Rav, you'll be mata neder. But Hataras Nedarim, if you're limited till the end of the day, so then even if you don't need it for Shabbos, but you're not going to be able to do it anymore. So that's a tzad to be made. Not necessarily is it called a tzarech Shabbos. You're not going to don't need it. And if it's too late, it's too late. You might say that. No, how do you say no? What can we do for you? It's not a tzarech Shabbos. Or that since it's more important because he's not going to be able to do it later, maybe we're going to be mata. The Rosh has another tzad. That maybe it's more mutter by a forest nedarim than a Torah nedarim, because by a Torah nedarim you have to sit down and ask him. Maybe you don't have to sit down. We'll see soon. But you have to discuss: why is he being mata neder? He has charata, or he didn't realize how it's going to affect him. So there's more to talk about. So therefore, maybe it's more aser on Shabbos. But a forest nedarim, the father or the husband just says mufalach. He doesn't have to give any reasons, explanations, no questions asked. He just says mufar. So maybe that's also a reason why it's not so bad to do it on Shabbos. So that's the most question. It really ends. Let's see the question inside. So far as the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, highlight that. The Mishnah says, "Mefir nedarim b'Shabbos v'nishal nedarim shein l'tzarech Shabbos." And then what's the question? Iboilu mefir nedarim b'Shabbos l'tzarech Shabbos. Is afaris nedarim also only mutter if it's tzarech Shabbos? Or do mafilu shalom l'tzarech? That the mefirin is mutter even if it's not l'tzarech Shabbos. Only a Torah nedarim has to be l'tzarech Shabbos. Maybe mefirin nedarim is even if it's not l'tzarech Shabbos. The question really boils down to how do you read the Mishnah? Where do you put the comma? I'll try to put the comma over here. Maybe you put the comma mefirin nedarim l'Shabbos, comma v'nishal nedarim shein l'tzarech Shabbos, and it doesn't say anything about tzarech Shabbos as far as mefirin nedarim. Or the other side is going to be that mefirin nedarim v'nishal nedarim, comma shein l'tzarech Shabbos, and saying the tzarech Shabbos is going back on both. Maybe both hafara and shalom is only mutter if it's tzarech Shabbos. How do you read the Mishnah? Where's the truck? How do you put the comma? So that's the Gemara's question. Is the condition that it has to be the tzarech Shabbos also referring to hafara nedarim also?
But the question now is only on the film.
Right, 100%. That
So the question is with the comma after the Shabbos.
I'm sorry. The
The
question
question comes up with
the question is on the field.
with the comma will be after the Shabbos. Because we see that in the Nedarim it can only the Tzorich Shabbos.
There's no question that the Shalom Nedarim is not tzarech Shabbos. The question is if the comma is over here or over here. If the comma is over here, so then it says Mefir Nedarim doesn't have to be tzarech Shabbos. Only a Shalom Nedarim. But if the comma is over here, then
The question is where the comma is.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Right.
I see. Okay.
Yibailu Mefir Nedarim b'Shabbos shel tzarech Shabbos only. O Dilma afilu shalom tzarech, that even though a Torah Nedarim is mutter only if it's tzarech Shabbos, but a forest nedarim maybe is mutter even if it's not the tzarech Shabbos. So those are the two studies in the Gemara.
Because it's svar is because after Shabbos you lost your
Right, so we said two studies. One is because
sorry.
maybe you lost it, or the other svar is going to be because it's only say mufalach. You don't have to have any discussion. There's nothing to talk about. No question. Tashma, the Tani, yes.
What's the second thing? What do you mean? Say more for
Two reasons why the Gemara is questioning maybe a forest nedarim is mutter is more lenient. Why should it be so?
what's the problem with more for what?
Not the problem. There's more reason why it's more lenient.
No.
Torah nedarim, you have to have a whole discussion. You have to ask them why what happened, why you
Well,
might.
the reason why you could.
So but Mayfair and the don't have to have any discussion. The husband just says mufa. The father says mufa. He doesn't have mufa.
Yes, you could.
Right. We'll see the Russian side if everybody likes that. The Rush is here. It is. Second white line in this print. That may be the reason why you're allowed to even do it on Shabbos, even slow. So Moshe said that maybe since the time is going to be too late after night, so that's why they allowed you to be made even if it's not a Tzarech Shabbos. Maybe that's also enough reason to be made because it isn't such a big deal. You don't have to talk about it so much. You just say mufalach without any explanation, without any discussion. Maybe that's also a reason why you should be mutter even shalom Tzarech Shabbos. So it's a question how to learn the Mishnah and Shabbos over there. Toshma, the Tani of Zuti, the Bay Rab Papi, Ein Mefirin Nedarim, Ela Tzarech Shabbos. He said first that his proof was the Brisa says
That the commas in the later place.
that the also there's no leniency that Afaris Nedarim also says only what if it's for Tzarech Shabbos she made a neder she's not going to eat bread. And the husband is going to be made for it in order to be able to eat bread. But if it has something to do with nothing to do with today, so then he wouldn't be allowed to be made for. You don't have this no leniency. Amar Abashi, although to not nothing. There's a kasha from our Mishnah against that. Because the Mishnah, our Mishnah made us learn. It says the case of Shabbos. It happens to be talking about Shabbos. It means that Allah the Mishnah wants to tell you, to give you an example of being made for only until nightfall. So it could have talked about Tuesday night. It could have said that she made the Tuesday night, you have the whole Tuesday night, then Wednesday until Shkia. She made it before Shkia on Wednesday, only till Wednesday, but it picked an example of Shabbos. And what does it say? That if she made a neder Friday night, she has until Shkia the next day. If she made a neder right before Motzei Shabbos, so then he has to be made for before sunset, because if he misses sunset, it's too late. But the Gemara's understanding is that any neder that she made a few minutes before Shkia is not relevant to Shabbos. Any neder that she made a few minutes before Shkia is not relevant to Shabbos because it's over in a few minutes. Even if she made a neder not to eat, but wait 5 minutes, it's samach l'chsheich already. So how come the Mishnah is saying that the reason she can't make the neder is only until nightfall? Because once nightfall comes, why does the Mishnah say that it can't be made for only until nightfall? He shouldn't be able to be made for even before nightfall because it's a neder which is not a Tzarech Shabbos. If you say you only allowed to be made for a neder which is Tzarech Shabbos, this case of Samach L'Chashecha is not a case of Tzarech Shabbos because there's only a few minutes left. I'm
sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Nidra im hashecha. Friday night.
No, Shalosh Shudis.
On Shalosh Shudis, she did it. I see.
So he only has until sunset. After that, it's too late. That's what the Mishnah says. And the Gemara now is analyzing. If you say that you're only allowed to be made for Nedarim if it's a Tzarech Shabbos, this case is not a Tzarech Shabbos. Why does it say you only can make it until sunset? Even if it would be a time that you would be allowed to, even if you have plenty of time. A neder which is not a Tzarech Shabbos, you're not allowed to be made for. So it shouldn't say this case doesn't make sense to say that if they would have spoken about Tuesday, fine, but it happens to be speaking about Shabbos. And at Shabbos saying the only problem is because it's Shabbos and it came already sunset, so it's too late. No, it shouldn't be true because if you need a neder, only made for neder which is Tzarech Shabbos, if it was close to Shkia, it's also not a Tzarech Shabbos. So even on Shabbos, you shouldn't be able to be made for such a neder. So that was a Rashi's kasha on the Brisa or Tani, the one Tani Rav Zuti, the Be'er Papi that says only for Tzarech Shabbos, Amish is Amash like that. So the Gemara answers back to what Moshe said that it depends on this machlokis. We have machlokis already, if it's until sunset, there was 24 hours, and the Gemara is going to say that our Mishnah that Taka holds you could do it even on Shabbos, even if it's not a Tzarech Shabbos. The proof is a good proof. Rashi's proof is a good proof that our Mishnah holds you can be made for neder even if it's not the Tzarech Shabbos. That's true, but that's because our Mishnah holds that you're only allowed to do it until sunset. So that's why it's always considered a Tzarech Shabbos because you have no choice to do it tomorrow. And the other Brisa, this Brisa that says that you only can do it on Tzarech Shabbos is because he holds you have 24 hours and you can do it after Shabbos. So there's not a new machlokes. There's old machlokes. The only machlokes we know about how long can you be made for Nedarim. And depending on that, there's going to be, if you're allowed to be made for Neder, which is not L'Tzarech Shabbos, if you're limited by the time, you're not going to be able to do it later on, then you're allowed to do it even on Shabbos. And if you have time to do it after Shabbos, then don't do it on Shabbos. We're not going to invent a new machlokas. It's only one machlokas. Means the Rush brought down another svar, maybe because a forest Nedarim is easy to do. You just say mufalach, you don't have to discuss it. That the Gemara is saying, no, that's not a heter. The heter is only if you won't be able to do it after sunset. If you can't do it after sunset and you lost it, you're not going to be able to be made for Neder anymore, then you're allowed to do it. That's what the Gemara explains, and it brings down the machlokas which we know about already. Tanoi that a forest Nedarim kalayom, Rabbi Yisrael, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Amru, Meis Laes. That's the Bryce we put down before. That the Tanakh was like our Mishnah that you have only that day. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Yisrael, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, this pair, the Zug, they hold that you have 24 hours, and it's dependent on that machlokas. The Madama kalayom in Tefillah, the one who says they only have that day and not anymore. Then if you load Tzarech Shabbos Mefer, then you're allowed to do it Mefer even if it's not for a Tzarech Shabbos, because if you're not going to do it now, you're not going to be able to do it at all. But the one who says you have 24 hours, so then don't wait till after Shabbos. Let Tzarech Shabbos in, Shalom Tzarech Shabbos lo. Period. So what did the Gemara say? That this machlokis has ramifications. Are you allowed to be made for a neder? Shalom Tzarech Shabbos. That if you hold that you have only until sunset, so then you're allowed to be made for a neder, not Tzarech Shabbos, because you're not going to be able to do it later on, even though it's not relevant to Shabbos, but since it's a last chance, so the Chachamim were matir. And if you hold that you have even after Shabbos to do it, so then we're not going to be matir to do it, to make for neder if it's not. So you only have until Shabbos afternoon. So you can't tell. So then we're going to say also the same story. If you're not able to do it after Shabbos, so then we're going to allow you. In the case which you made it on Shabbos, then you're right that the one who says that you only have till the end of the day, so you could you can do it on Shabbos, and the one who says you have 24 hours, don't do it. But there will be a neder that you. Even according to Madam, it says you have 24 hours. Also, 24 hours is going to be over before Shabbos. So then you also will be matter you to be matter neder even Shalom Tzarech, because you won't be able to do it after Shabbos. We paskin that you only have until sunset, and therefore you're allowed to be made for neder even Shalom Tzarech Shabbos, because you're not going to be able to do it later.
What would be the Issa Dabadabra?
Or the Gemara is going to say soon that maybe it looks like a din Torah. Maybe it's Mexican din. Usually it's three people. And the Gemara is going to talk about. I think Gemara talks about it now, or soon. Next Gemara, new Gemara, 2 dots, new Gemara. That goes back on the Mishnah that was mentioned in Masechah Shabbos. It doesn't say Vayas, but it says Masechah Shabbos on the top line, second line, that you're allowed to be matter neder for a neder which is necessary on Shabbos. This is Ataras Nedarim. There's no time limit. There's nothing pressing. You can do it afterwards. If you need it on Shabbos, he made a neder. He's not going to eat, let's say, and he wants to eat on Shabbos. So then he can go to the Chacham to be matir, or the Triyat Yotos to be matir neder, because it's necessary for Shabbos. If not, he should wait till after Shabbos. Iboilu, Kishelo Hayalam Penai, or Dilma Kishayalam Penai. What's the case that will matir him to be matir neder on Shabbos? It's only because he had no opportunity to do it before Shabbos, either because he made the neder on Shabbos, or whatever reason he couldn't find anybody to be matir neder, or he didn't decide to be matir neder until on Shabbos, so he wasn't able to do it before. But if he was able to do it before and he just was lax, maybe we're not going to be matir to be matir. Maybe we're not going to permit to be matir neder on Shabbos, even though it's a Tzarech Shabbos. You should have done it earlier. Tashma, so the Gemara brings a proof, not from any Mishnah or Brisa, just from a Moron that's how they paskin. There's the Kiku Lei Rabbanon, the Veder of Zutra, Veder of Zira, Afilu Benedam, Shaylahem, Penaim, Bodium. Period. There was a story that doesn't say his name, but the son of Rav Zutra, who's the son of Rav Zira, he made a neder and he wanted to be matir neder. They did it on Shabbos, even though he was able to do it before Shabbos, and he didn't. They also were matir. So no proof, but it says that's what they did. The Rabbanan, the Chachamim, they paskin that it's mutter to be matir neder on Shabbos if it's a Tzarech Shabbos, even if you could have done it before. Nu Gemara. Sava Rav Yosef Lememar.
How did we see that it was a Tzarech Shabbos?
It says it was that was no. It surely had to be Tzarech Shabbos, because then it wouldn't have been mutter. That's the Mishnah. Surely, but the case was that it was, even though he had time to do it with both young, they still were matir on Shabbos also. So that's the halacha that you're allowed to matan neder l'tzarech Shabbos even if you could have done it before. Of course, the chatchila do it before, but if you didn't, you're also going to be matan neder even on Shabbos. Nu Gemara, Savar of Yosef Lemema. The Sholem in the Nedarim b'Shabbos is the mumcha in the shalosh adiotas lo. How do you matan neder? Either three commoners, three common people. Also, they have to know a little bit. They have to know what Torah's number is all about. And there's a Yochad Mumcha, somebody who's a specialist. He's a Chacham Gadol. He's a big Chacham. So then you don't have to have three people. That one person is enough. So the halacha that you're allowed to be matan neder on Shabbos, Rav Yosef thought that it's only when it's a Yochad Mumcha. You have one person, he's matan neder. Okay, it doesn't look so serious. It doesn't look like a bezdin. But b'shlosh adiotas lo, if you're gonna have to use three people to be matan neder, so we're not going to be matan on Shabbos. Mishum the mischazi kedina. It looks like a bezdin. You're not allowed to have a bezdin on Shabbos. Ain't done it. You're not supposed to have bezdin on Shabbos. If you're going to see in the shul, let's say three people being matan neder for somebody, you can think you're allowed to do it in Torah, and that's not good. It's like a zilus of the Shabbos. Probably it's like a zilzul of Shabbos. You're not supposed to have a bezdin on Shabbos. Maybe the reason is what's the reason I'm allowed to have a bezdin? They might write down. I forgot the reasons that it says Mesechus Beitz over there. It says you're not supposed to make it in Torah. So they might make a bezdin. It looks like a bezdin, but Abai told them not so. Rav Yosef thought so. Abaye no. Chivin the Sfirolan. Afilu mu'umad. Afilu b'krovim. Even standing. I mean, by bezdin usually has to sit down, but by intersadom they're allowed to do it even sit. The dayanim could even do it standing up. And afilu b'krovim. Even relatives are allowed to be a bezdin. And afilu balayla. You're allowed to do it even at night. This is very different than a regular din Torah. Din Torah has to be sitting, has to be no relatives are allowed, and not to die and not to aid them. All these things, not to the yalim can't be relatives to each other or to the person that they're judging. And at night, it has to be dafka in the day. Since there are so many things that are different by a Torah Nedarim, lo maschazi kedina. It doesn't look like a din Torah, and it's mutter even if it's three people. You're allowed to be matan neder l'tzarech Shabbos even if it's three people, because it doesn't look like a bezdin. Next Gemara. Another Gemara opens up a little bit. They came. Abai said it like we never heard about this. We don't know about this standing at night with krobim. So that what the Gemara talks about it. Amar Abba, Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Halacha Mefir Nedam B'Layla. He also said the same thing that you're allowed to be mefer neder even at night. Mefer neder. So he talked about mefer neder. Mefer neder means the husband or the father, and that the Gemara says that goes without saying. Of course, you can make mefer neder even at night. But that you don't need Rav to tell you. That's a Mishnah. Nadra B'Leilei Shabbos. Our Mishnah gave an example that she made a neder on Friday night. He has until Shkia the next day to be made for neder. So obviously it says that he's allowed to do it at night. He's allowed to be made for at night. He's allowed to be made for in the day. So it surely says the Mishnah says he's allowed to be made for neder even at night. So why did Rav have to tell us? The answer is you're right. He didn't mean to say mefirin. That's Pashut. He meant to say that even a Torah Nedarim also could be at night, which is what Abai said. Abai said before that you're allowed to be matan neder even at night. Rav said so. Rav said that you're allowed to be matan neder even at night. It's not like a bezdin. A husband is surely not like a bezdin. It's Pashut. It's a Mishnah. It might be before Pashut. That it also from Yom Shamo. There was a pasuk Yom Shamo to say that you're allowed to do it at night also. But the chiddush is that nishalan in the dorm, that even a Torah Nedarim, which is a little bit like a bezdin, you're allowed to do it at night. Amalei Rav Abba Rav Huna. So who said all this? This was, just to get the quotation before, this was Rav Abba, Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav. He's the one who said it. And now, so Rav Abba said the name of Rav Huna told Rav Abba that Rav said so. So when Rav Huna told Rav Abba that Rav said so, Rav Abba questioned Rav Huna. Amar le Rav Abba le Rav Huna, Amar Rav Hachi. Did Rav really say that? It means Rav Abba saying it over in the name of Rav Huna, Amar Rav. But Rav Abba asked Rav Huna, did Rav say so? So I'll read the gersa the way we have it, more or less, a little bit different. But then there's another gersa. Amalei ishtik. He was quiet. Means he didn't say it, but I said it, and he was quiet. He didn't argue. And so Baba said maybe he was quiet because he didn't agree. How do you know that he?
Usually when you're quiet, it's because you agree.
Could be that not. Could be that he was quiet, like Pashut not like that. So how do you read that? Amalei. Ishtika Amrit. Okay, how do you go over here? The guess is going to be either, who's this? This Pshat. This is the Ran I saw it in, the Pshat and the Ran. One line up from the bottom. Ashkoyach means, we had this Gemara in Ksubas, very interesting. It says in the side of the Gemara, Ksubas Kuf Dalet Amud Beis 104b, we had the same Gemara, more or less, a little different Gersa, and he said, should I give you, I'm going to give you to drink. You deserve a drink. He said such a nice thing, you deserve a drink. Maybe the reason why he did it is quiet because he wanted to quiet you down. Although if he didn't say you're right, that's also a way of saying that you're wrong. That's also one choice is to say that you deserve a drink. I'm going to give you to drink. And the other shot is the other possibility is maybe because he wanted to silence you. And then there wasn't a bigger proof that Rav himself was mater neder at night. So you see that Rav held like that. That's the girsa that the Ran says that Rav Abba asked Rav Huna, did Rav say so? And Rav Huna answered that he was quiet when I said it over. And he told him, is it quiet because he agrees to you and he wants to give you a drink, so to speak? Or was he quiet because he disagreed with you? And the word something's wrong with the words of Shasika Amrit. I'm not sure how they read that. Rav Ika Bar Ovin is not like Rav. The more to continue that Rav himself.
So when we say Shtika Kaidah,
So sometimes it depends on. Okay, it could be. Sometimes that's when someone's claiming against you. Someone tells you something, you owe me $100, and you don't say anything. But here that he said halacha and he's quiet. It could be. The bar doesn't know, but the bar says there is a proof that because Rav Lamaisa was quiet, he did agree.
right? But from this quiet, we don't.
Right here, the Gemara says you wouldn't be able to tell. Maybe he didn't agree. The Gemara has the other girsas in the Gemara, and it takes out this ishtik over here, and there's a similar Gemara in Ksubas over there. It says in the side Ksubas 104, and over there the Gemara goes that Rav Abba asked Rav Huna, did Rav say so? So Rav Huna asked back to Rav Abba, why are you asking me? Because you think it's good what I said, or because you think it's not good what I said? Means the fact that Rav Abba questioned Rav Huna, did Rav say so? So Rav Huna asked back to Rav Abba, what's bothering you? Why do you want to know? Because you want to know that it's such a good thing that I said. So you want to know, or because you think it doesn't make sense. That's why you're asking me if Rav said so. And according to that, there's no continuation. The Gemara is over, and then it starts a new Gemara, a story of Rav.
What is the next to the last word and the next to the last line?
This word. So
You were saying it means drink, or
there is such a pshat that ashkoyan, ashkoyach. I'll give you to drink. Here it doesn't have to have that word. I'm not sure if the gears over here.
So what is it? How did you read it? Did you read that?
I read it without saying the words. Here's the I didn't clarify the gears here. Here it says ashkoyan ka'amrit.
Where's that?
That's going to be where we
Ashkoyan,
have
here, yeah,
ishti ka'amrit. We don't have ashkoyan. We have
Ashkoyan.
ashkoyan. So the Ran's gear says ashkoyan, not ishti. Ashkoyan. And then he has a gears on the first white line, ashkoyan ka'amrit or ishtikach ka'amrit. And he explains that, and he says, he gave me ashkoyan means he gave me to drink, and that would mean, like the Ran says in the bottom line, that a person when he's impressed with something, he says ashkoyach, I'll give you to drink.
Mima, like what do you say? Meaning a stam person knocks on the door, you just say hello, what do you need? And so if a chashuv person comes to the door,
No, he said no. Someone says something good. Someone said a nice thing. He says you deserve a good drink. You deserve it. Well, let's drink to that.
I bring a cup of wine.
Is that where Yashikoyach comes from?
So Machavusa said that, and ashkoyach. That people say ashkoyach. What does ashkoyach mean? So really, it means yasher kochacha. Yashar you kochacha. So that's the way you say Yasha Koichacha, by saying Yashkoya. So I think that it's very nice what he said. Machavusa said it, he didn't think so, but I'm very, that Ashkoya, look at this word, Ashkoya.
He says that
I want to give you a drink.
Let me make l'chaim, it's such a nice shot.
I'll give you, Ashkoya means I will give you to drink. Isn't that a beautiful shot?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I think it's nowadays everyone says it means Yashkoya. But I think the way it started was that a Talmud Chacham said Ashkoyach, and no one knew what he's talking about. But he said he probably said Yashkoyach, and then how we came to be Yashkoyach. But I think it's a true shot, Ashkoyach. That's the way Chazal give a compliment. They want to say it's a good word. They say Ashkoyach. You deserve a drink. I'll give you a drink.
Oh, so here we would say, oh, Shasi Kamarta, or
so
drink.
I don't see anybody. Yeah, but I don't see anybody saying that word in the Girsa. It could be the Girsa. The Girsa needs some change. Shtika, if they come with the shtika, it would mean like drink. It's not so clear the gears in the Gemara. I didn't check out the gears over here, but I see that they talk about ashkoyach or ishtik, ashkoyan. Those are the words they use over here. I don't see shti. Okay, that would be the point. Maybe drink. Okay, maybe according to this gears, he wanted to quiet you down, or he wanted to give you a drink. One of those things. But anyway, I was very impressed with this chat. That's probably the source of the Yashkoya. Instead of Yashikoyach, it's Ashikoyach.
Ashkoyach.
Okay, that's on Nedarim 77. Also over there in Ksubas, same Gemara. Ksubas 104, same Gemara over there.
So then, did we get an answer? What's the
if
last line?
it was a question like
Yeah.
Israel, so then the Gemara then they say the Gemara continues as if this is going to be approved. Tashma, they put in the Tashma over here. Ravika bar Oven is Dakik Rav the Rabba, and the story continues that Rav did Matan Neder even at night. So that's going to be a proof that he did agree. Not only that I said he didn't agree, he wasn't being quiet because he did not agree. He was quiet because he did agree. Ravika bar Oven is Dakik Rav the Rabba. Turn the page. Vikituna de Beirav, Omeid Yechidi of Alayla. That Rav himself was Matan Neder to Rabba in the room of Rav. Kitona. Kitona is a room. A small room is called the Kitona. And the Kituna of the Beis Medrash of Rav, when he was standing and by himself and at night. So you see these three halachas that you're allowed to be Matan Neder even standing, and even if you're by yourself, a Chacham by Yachad Mumcha is not by himself, and at night. Now just the point. I at the bottom of the page before I said his parentheses and I skipped it. Where does it go exactly?
It's part of your view of the prophets of Torah. It's in the same mitzvah. Not having a break in it. It's not like talking
That this Gemara here, the bottom of the page, the bottom of the previous page. So some explain that it's talking about when you're Matan Neder, you do it with Chavata alone, or you have to find the Pesach. Chavata alone means that I'm at Chavet, I have a regret, or he has to find the reason why. If you would have known, you wouldn't have made the neder. So the Gemara says that it would say that it depends. There's Gemara coming up soon. That it depends if maybe it doesn't go yet. I'm not sure where it's going to stick it in, but it might depend on that question about standing. That you could do when you have to think of it. You have to sit down. To have more yeshiva das, you have to sit down. Something that doesn't have to have yeshiva das, then you can stand up. So poston b'charata means that you just can say because I'm at charet, it's not a big discussion. You don't have to find any pesach. So then you could more reason why you should be able to do it standing. But that's what the Gemara is going to say soon. So some stick in this Gemara that Chiba Rav Shadi Gira Badik, nothing to do with the sundial, but just to do with that he was doing his thing. Whatever he was doing, he was shooting arrows. Whatever he was doing. So he was Matan Neder while he was doing that. He didn't give it a lot of concentration because he always posted on Bacharata. Another one, the Koyim. Badik. And so Badik would mean that he would ask if he's Mitcharet. He would ask if he regrets the Neder. When he was Matan Neder, so he would ask him even while he was involved in shooting arrows. He didn't take time
He checked it out while he was doing it.
Right, while he was shooting arrows. Or Rabbi Rapuna would stand or sit. It didn't make a difference even standing also. So according to that pshat, it doesn't belong to the Gemara before. It belongs over here. By us, and also we're about standing and sitting. So we're on the Amud Beis, and we're up to this thing about Rav was Matan Neder even standing and even by himself and even at night. Amr Rav Nachman. Halacha nishalon nedarim yomed yechidi uvalayla uvashabbos uvaprovim. Look at all that. That you're allowed to be Matan Neder even standing, and even by oneself if it's a yachad mumcha, and even at night, and even on Shabbos. As we said, if it's l'tzorach Shabbos, it has to be l'tzorach Shabbos. And bekrovim, even relatives are allowed to be Matan Neder. Afilu ha'olam panay b'bod yom. That goes back on Shabbos. That we said a second ago that even if it was, even if you had time to do it before Shabbos, you're allowed to be Matan Neder on Shabbos also. The Gemara goes on the point of Omeid. Is it true that you're allowed to be Matan Neder even standing? Omeid. Are you allowed to be Matan Neder standing? But Tanya, Yodam Gamliel Menachem ben Esate v'Yashav v'Hitei Lo Nidro. There was a story where Gamliel, he was riding on a donkey, and somebody asked him to be Matan Neder. So he wrapped himself in his talis, and he was beged, and he sat. He got off the donkey, he got down, and he was Matan Neder when he was sitting.
I think wrapping up his towels like a dinner that you do.
So you see that after
it says be a shape.
He went off the donkey to sit, and you're saying you're allowed to do it even standing. The answer is this depends on a machlokes. You have to stick in the word ain. You have to stick in the word ain. Is not good enough. You have to find a Pesach. You have to uproot the neder with a Pesach, and therefore by Yuna, you have to think about it. Therefore, he's saying, there's a question if Chavata is good enough. Chavata means that he just says that I never meant. I regret that I did it. I regret that I did it. I wish I never would have done it.
Is that the end of the verse?
No, we're not on the Bryce now. The Bryce is the Bryce is before over.
This is
the Bryce is over. It's over by the word nidro after the first word.
Or Rav
Yeah,
Gamliel is not in the-
it's not the Yashavita about nidro.
That's the end of the Bryce.
Right, and the Gemara answers, you know why? Because he holds over meal sava ain't poskim b'charata. So it's not enough just to say that I regret it. You have to find the Pesach. If I would have known, I wouldn't have done it. It's a more of sitting down. Meyaka nidre b'inam. You have to uproot it by finding a Pesach. By a unit, you have to think about it, analyze it. And that's why he sat down. But Rav Nachman Sabar ain't poskim. Take out the word ain. Take out the word ain. Rav Nachman Sabar poskim b'charata. And that's why Nachman said on the top of the page, he said aloha that you're allowed to do it even standing because he always posts on the charata. That charata is good enough. You don't have to think about it. He just says, I regret that I did it. Okay, I feel a movement. So that's what the Gemara brings in. Yesterday's, not yesterday's, but the end of one of the days before, that even while he was shooting an arrow, while he was standing and sitting, that he didn't care to do a dafka with Yishuv Adas because he holds that posting the charata is good enough. Okay, Adkan.
The shot o'clock.
Thank you.
Hmm.
So we're Gamarila Rava.
Ah,
Rava.
what could we bring?
Oh, Ashkoya.
Chocolate.
Ashkoya.
Who's gonna bring the schnapps?
I think it means like a hot chocolate or so, or coffee or something, because I don't think